What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Supes. My name's Ande Got You, and right next to me, I got
What's going on, Ahmed?
it's Ed, and we're here for episode 4 of Talking Supes. Um, we've been having a great day here. A lot of snow going on still. I recently just came back from my trip. If you watched the last episode,
Yeah, let him
wish
get
I was
into it.
still
Let him
there.
let him let him tell you where he was. He was in
Yeah,
Puerto Rico
I was in.
enjoying the nice, beautiful weather. See,
Yeah.
this is the second week in a row he tried to skirt around that fact.
Yeah, I really wish I was still back there, but I gotta take the good with the bad and all that good stuff. So it is what it is.
Well, did you enjoy your trip at least? That's the important part.
Yeah, I did. I was really relaxed. I didn't do nothing too crazy. Just the most craziest thing I did was we went on we hit up the boat and we had
Okay,
like an excursion on this like little yacht type shit. But
nice,
other
nice.
than that, it was just chilling like by the pool on the beach. This I'm
Just
doing absolutely
relaxing, doing
everything I can't
everything
do right
opposite
now.
of
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's everything I cannot do right now is exactly what we were doing.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, because it's been a solid sheet of ice in the Northeast for the past week and a half, I think.
Yeah.
Literally, my front lawn is just like a foot of solid ice. So,
It's
if you're
horrible.
somewhere warm in the country, please enjoy it and don't take it for granted because we are.
And the thing that sucks about when you go on vacation like that during this time is that, you get used to it, and in your mind, you already want to fast forward to like warmer weather,
Hmm.
and you come back and it's like that's just not how it works. Like you still got a whole maybe 2 months left before weather actually gets nice now. Thank God it's February 1st. That was kind of my cheat code was that I would go at the end of the month so that way I can just kind of like bypass it a little bit and cut it in half, the month in
And
half
you would be
with
back
nice
in
weather.
time.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it is what it is. But I definitely feel refreshed and ready to talk some soups because
We got
this
a lot to talk
episode
about.
we have some really great things to speak about. Um, and we're gonna get right to it with the main attraction of this episode, and that's Wonder Man. I did get the chance to watch it while I was away. I binged that shit probably that afternoon. It was just nothing to do, so I was like, you know what, perfect. Yeah, Ed and I have both watched Wonder Man. I've watched so many other
I
takes of
actually
it. And
watched it too. I watched the whole entire thing. So
great.
I
Yeah.
don't want to read no comments saying I didn't watch it. I watched
Yeah.
it.
Well, because we had some time in between, all the reviews and people's thoughts started dropping. So, I mean, I did listen to a couple of things here and there. I also hopped on to the People's Cultures IG page because they have my boy DJ Brad Mahim, who does For All Nerds, and he does this shirt as well. He was on there talking Wonder Man with a bunch of other creators. They had that one. I don't want to butcher people's names, but anyways, it was just a lot of great. It was a lot of great creators on that space. And I really appreciated that space that they put together.
So
But
what were your initial thoughts after watching the show? Like
so for me, my
did you
initial
want to
thoughts.
go by episode or do you want to go by like whole entire thing?
We could do it like well, I'll say my initial thoughts and
Okay.
then I
All right.
can kind of like break down, just from the first half of the season to the second half because there's levels to it. I'll be honest. But
I'm very interested. Me and Ande have not talked about this since last week because
right.
we both had different opinions on the show going into it. So I purposely did not tell him how I felt about this show, and so we're going to talk about it here for the first time ever with you guys listening. So be prepared.
Mhm. So for me, I brought up the back. I really enjoyed the show a lot. I did love the fact that it was very LA from the jump, and visiting Cali for I've only visited about two times. I've been to LA once, but I spent a good amount of time while I was there that one time. So I like that I was able to get a sense of the vibe and connect with it that way, and also recognize some of the landmarks that were there in the show as well. Um, so that was cool as well. Also being not an actor, but knowing movies as much as I love them, and knowing how um how actors have to be in Hollywood, and what's the day in the life of a Hollywood actor. I thought that was really 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 great, and it felt true to the process, from what I saw. I'm not an actor. I don't really have a lot of actor friends, but I do have a lot of people who have been in the music industry, and I feel like that those two are very similar in a lot of ways. So to see how that went down, I thought it was real, and from stories I've heard from other actors that have done what he did, I think was really cool too, and true as well. Um,
Yeah, it was almost like a show within a show because of the way they set up the premise. Like
yeah.
you almost had like an episode of it, well, like a season of Atlanta mixed with a Marvel show. And like that for me, I think separated the way I viewed this show as
Hmm.
a whole,
Hmm.
because it was two shows like within each other.
Hmm. Yeah, I really like that too. So like, if anybody was to sit down and watch this show, and you not know it was even a Marvel TV show, I think the show still a, I don't know, I'll give it a
I
9 out of 10.
I would go out of my way and say it would have been a better show had it not been a Marvel.
Yeah, because like okay, so like some of my griefs with the show is that like it kind of the only this is probably the only real thing that is like they mention like real movies in our world.
And
So
they had
then
real actors playing themselves.
yeah.
That's what I mean about it being like a show within a show, because
Mhm.
they treated it like an episode of a, like pretty much like Entourage treated stuff, where like if a celebrity appeared on Entourage, they played themselves, and like they
Mhm.
kept all the same types of things. So yeah, like that would be my closest comparison: Atlanta or Entourage of the setup and feel for this show.
But that was a thing that I kind of like was I didn't like, only because it made it confusing to me, because I'm trying to uh like correlate all the Marvel things that I know, and then then you're adding like actual real people and things, and I'm just like, and then in my brain I'm like, how do these two things fucking match? One's fake, one's not. Like, how are these even making sense? So I was just like, okay, whatever, but let's just keep going. Like, what else? Tell me the rest of the story. Like let's just keep going. So that's just that's the only grief I have with the show, on that tip. But overall, though, the first half of the season was really fun. The show is actually really fun. Like, I enjoyed watching Sam Wilson, oh my God, Wonder Man. I enjoyed him, watching him go through the different phases of what he does on a day to day, and then having Trevor Wilson into it, like all that all that together. Him as the Mandarin is just like he's amazing. And then once we
I
get
would argue that Yahya Abdul and Sir Ben Kingsley. I'm going to say Sir Ben Kingsley because you put the respect on somebody who was knighted. I'm going to say they put on two of the best performances in the entire MCU. I'm
yeah,
comfortable saying that out of
hmm,
any MCU movie
it's
and
very
show
true.
that they've done, but by far any show that they've done, those two and their chemistry on screen shine so well that, in my opinion, it would be listed as probably the best performance between two actors, like in everything that they've done so far. Like
Yeah.
that's how immersed and amazed I was by both of them and the way they carried themselves in the show. I would have liked a little bit more meat on the bone as far as an actual villain, that it wasn't just damage control doing things. His brother Eric was introduced in the show. I was waiting for him to turn into Grim Reaper the entire time, and that never happened. Especially with Grim Reaper being hinted at in WandaVision, it's just it was there. I was waiting for it, and it just never happened. So I'm guessing there's something that they did with Wonder Man in this show, which could be controversial, could be something new. He's presented as a mutant. That's kind of the big thing. Is
Okay, yeah,
he's
I'm on the same page with you there because I was going to say that as well.
in the comics, Wonder Man has like an accident, and that's how he gets his powers. In this show, they showed that he manifested his powers as a child, like in that puberty age. So that would technically make him a mutant in the MCU, which is interesting because the only other mutant we know is somebody who I don't like, and Kamala Khan.
It's funny. I think person you don't like, they're gonna continue to make a main plot in the MCU.
They're gonna hunt me to my grave with Kamala Khan. So that was surprising to me, was the fact that like they went that route with Wonder Man. I mean, he is like a best friend of Beast in the comics. Like him and Beast really have like a fantastic relationship. When Beast is part of the Avengers, like him and Beast are best buds. Beast lives with him even in like the newer comics. When Beast comes back and is brought back after Krakoa, Beast goes and finds Simon first. Like that's his boy. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It makes sense from that standpoint. My only thing is, okay, if damage control is your big bad, right? You had no actual confrontation with damage control. Nothing actually took place where like Simon faced off against damage control. If damage control is rumored to be the big bad of the Spider-Man movie and incorporated, supposedly the rumors are that they're on the hunt for Sadie Sink's character, whoever that might be, whether it's Rachel Summers or it's Jean Grey or they make her somebody else. Do we see Wonder Man be part of Spider-Man's team come Secret Wars? Because if that's the case, I'm sold. You got me on Secret Wars. Like I'd be way more excited to see Peter leading a team of street level Avengers to go at Doom. Like to me, that sells me on the movie if that's the case. So if that's what they're doing, I'm in. That's my worry, is just like you kind of already got Luke Cage there coming back. Do you put Wonder Man right next to him when they kind of have the same?
He's not confirmed for anything. He's not confirmed.
The rumor is he's going to be coming back at some point. So do you have like two guys with similar looks and power sets like on the same team? Is that?
But you could do that because Wonder Man doesn't really have the same powers as Luke Cage. Luke Cage is more so of just like brute strength and like invulnerability, where Wonder Man is almost on a cosmic level.
He's got ionic energy, but he's got all the same powers that Luke Cage has, the same things. That's what I'm saying. Like to me, I would just do without Luke Cage then. If that's your plan, like Wonder Man and Ben Kingsley,
the boy can fly.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna have two characters that are gonna be the same power set, same everything, it kind of defeats the purpose. So like for me, if you're gonna go Wonder Man instead of Luke Cage, I'm here for it. Like okay, I'll take Ben Kingsley and Wonder Man over 100%. Luke Cage. Fine by me. Mm-hmm. But I really think if that's the case, and that's like what we're doing in Spider-Man, is Spider-Man's gonna be building his own little team of Avengers to go at Doom, I'm here for it. Like they Wonder Man did enough for me in that regard to get me excited about that, because I'm still really not excited about Doomsday. It could come, it could go. I don't really know either way.
No, I'm still excited. So I want to go back to that point that you mentioned about with Eric, and a lot of people not knowing that he does in the comics, he is the Grim Reaper. But I did notice while watching the show, though, although he wasn't he's not confirmed or they later that he will eventually become Grim Reaper, which to be honest, I don't know how I really fucking feel about that, especially like you work for an insurance company and then out of nowhere and now you want to be a fucking villain.
That's what I mean. They kind of missed the boat with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just be like, I don't know how that can work, but what they did do was really dope. Is they did give him his like his haterish ways that he has towards Wonder Woman, like he does in the comics.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, he was
so
a thorn in his side the whole entire time. That's why he thought like his brother was going to rat him out about the fire and
yeah,
having powers. Like he's been waiting for the opportunity to take me down, and now he's got the shot. But
I
then he
did like
didn't.
that.
The thing that really lost me, and I've heard some people like rant and rave about the episode, was the Josh Gad episode. Episode 3, I think it was. As soon as we got
Yeah,
the
the
Josh
Doorman
Gad and
episode.
Doorman, I was
Yeah,
out. I was like, this didn't need to even take place. You didn't even need to waste a whole episode on this. Josh Gad is another one on my list. Like I'm glad. Like in the MCU, I wish the MCU was real life and we never saw Josh Gad again. Like I'd be fine with it. But Doorman being introduced kind of had Cloak vibes to me. And like that's kind of where I was going back and forth on the show. I was like, is Doorman supposed to be Cloak, or are we introducing Doorman so that we can introduce Cloak and Dagger later? Because he's pulling from the dark dimension, which is what Cloak's powers are. So that was my whole question watching it, of like, is this their MCU version of Cloak, or is the Doorman? I know the Doorman is a character like in the comics. He's a very like nuanced character,
hmm
but that was kind of my toss up of like, are they trying to hint at him, or are they trying to like set him up for down the line at some?
yeah, same. I was on the same wavelength as you on that. I just don't know because they kind of made it more of a comedy ish to it,
Well, that's
but
what I mean, and then the way like they went about it, it was kind of like, again, they didn't need to waste a whole episode on it. You could have showed me a flashback of that real quick, and it would
but
have
I
been
still feel like that
fine.
was like I still feel like there's a deeper meaning to that episode.
Oh, there was.
I
There
haven't
was.
picked it out yet.
They were trying to show that like how this kid or guy, his powers basically were used. You know, Josh Gad saw that he had powers, and then all of a sudden wanted to pay him to like just use him to be his transportation everywhere. So like it was showing how he was basically taken advantage of, first by Josh Gad, and then eventually by that Hollywood agent, and then eventually by Hollywood. They used him. They basically used him for what they wanted him for. And then when something went horribly wrong, they used him as the example to basically outlaw superheroes from being able to take part in any kind of movies or anything like that. And that was the doorman clause, quote unquote.
Hmm
Um, so it made an interesting bit for Wonder Man. But again, I would have kind of preferred like an actual villain for him to face off with, like whether it was Eric or whether Damage Control and him actually like squared off with one another at some point. For me, that was kind of the disappointing part towards the end. Like I loved that he went and broke Ben Kingsley out. Like I thought that was a cool thing of like him having this dream of being in the movies and having, you know, the #1 movie. And then it turns out that this movie that him and his dad saw that meant so much to him, he remade that movie, got cast as the #1 star. Ben Kingsley takes the fall. The movie becomes the #1 sensation in the world. He becomes the biggest movie star in the world, and he throws it all away to go save Ben Kingsley. I thought that was kind of beautiful, but now where do we go with it? You know, like that was kind of my toss up at the end of
Because I
like,
still wanted more too at the end of
I
the
did
episode.
too. I
Hmm
wanted him to at least like square off with them in the prison and then get out, or like show where he was going to go, because up until now, like the whole Spider-Man theory is just speculation. The same director produced this show and is directing Spider-Man. So
Right.
if Damage Control is his through thread, I would fully expect both of these characters to be in Spider-Man. Um,
hmm
but maybe that's not the route they go, and that's what I'm saying. So for me, I would have liked a little bit more knowing where they're going to go next, because I would like to follow both those characters wherever they go. I just would like to kind of know where I'm
Where can
supposed to
I see
direct
them
my
next?
attention.
And
Yeah,
even in that, like I really thought we would even get like a Wonder Man will return in Doomsday, or Wonder
something.
Man will return in season 2, or
I,
something to
I
that
I was
extent.
waiting for a cutscene too. Like I was fast forwarding, waiting to see if maybe they would show you like where they end up landing.
Hmm
Um, I don't think West Coast Avengers is on the table. I really don't. I just don't see the marketability for that. I don't see the need to go that far for West Coast Avengers. Maybe down the line if you want to do that, but not in this slate, not in From Now to Secret Wars.
A lot of people feel like that's where we're heading, which I think they're just trying to bite the gun already, bite the bullet, I should say.
Well,
But
and that's why him being a mutant, I think, is important, because they're going to use characters who aren't X-Men to set up their mutants in the MCU. That's what it looks like. And that's the thing for me that's a little bit concerning, that you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of
different
multi-diverse mutants from every country and every part of the world you can think of that are way more popular than these Avengers characters that you're putting in and making mutants. So like, to me, that's like the questionable part of like, why would you go that route? Like, I understand if you want to make them mutants, and I understand if you want to put Simon with the X-Men or whatever you want to do with that regard. But then now, if you cast a bunch of kids, if Sadie Sink is Jean Grey or Rachel Summers, and you're casting a bunch of young kids to be X-Men, you're going to have Wonder Man be part of that team. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That's just like, I don't really like that. So for me, I'd prefer the Spider-Man route of like, all right, Peter's going to make the Defenders and, you know, his squad of new Avengers, quote unquote. And there we go. Like, we got it set up. You get Jessica Jones, you get Daredevil, you get Wonder Man, and Ben Kingsley is the comedy through it all, which would be a lot of fun. Like, I'm cool with that if that's the route they go. Supposedly She-Hulk's not coming back. She made a comment recently where like she basically has washed her hands with being She-Hulk. Like, she's got no plans of coming back. She's doing like Oscar-winning award films and stuff like that now. So she's got really no interest in coming back. So like, that's kind of upsetting, because like,
supposedly it's a thing between her and Marvel, I've heard. I don't know what the beef is, but that's what I've heard.
And like, I would love for her to be part of that team, like her with Wonder Man and Daredevil and Peter. Like, that makes it a little bit more fun. Maybe they throw in like an Elektra, you know, or something like that. I kind of don't want Iron Fist. And then, like I said, I've voiced my concerns about Wonder Man and Luke Cage being on the same team. Like, it's just kind of like a moot point of like two people who do the same exact thing. So maybe pick one if you're going to go that route. But otherwise, like, yeah, that's kind of where I see things going. I mean, they could surprise us and do a whole totally different thing, put him someplace else, but I don't know where that would be. You know what I mean? On the timeline of stuff that we have coming out. Unless, you know, Wonder Man did well enough where they feel like they're going to give it a second season, and him and Ben Kingsley are just going to get another season.
From what I've seen online and from a specific person that I find to be an acceptable choice and a reliable choice to say, he says season 2 is coming.
But it hasn't been confirmed. Until it's confirmed by Disney, I don't believe it. Because of the way they marketed this show. Like, it looked like they had no faith in this show. I was actually more surprised after I watched it. Was like, you guys didn't put the marketing machine behind this. You didn't even advertise it the day it came out. The day it came out, they were pushing a trailer for something else. So, like, to me, that's what I didn't understand. This was probably one of the better MCU shows.
Well, you know, this show was almost going to get cut because of the Writers Guild.
Yeah, I mean, but still, even so, like
they were about to scrap it.
This show was better than Captain America and Falcon. This show was better than She-Hulk. This show was better than Miss Marvel. This show was better than anything that they've done on TV so far for Marvel TV. So, like, for me, I would look at this model differently, because if this is the route you're going to go, then, like, yeah, these should be the Marvel spotlights.
What I also think that helps us to show a lot is the fact that we also got to watch all 8 episodes all at once.
All in one shot. Yeah, if I wasted 6 weeks on this show, I would have been mad. Being able to watch it all in one shot made the show much more enjoyable for me. And like I said, I think I looked at this show as 2 shows. I looked at it like, this doesn't have to do anything with Marvel, and this would be a great show if this was just an entertainment Hollywood show like Entourage or Atlanta, where you were showing movie stars and their day-to-day and what they go through behind the scenes. Like, okay, this is a A-list show that you guys put together. But the fact that the Marvel Universe was incorporated in it, and then they kind of swung and missed with the ending of like not having it go anywhere, really. Like, I love the story. I love the fact of their relationship. I love the fact that he went and rescued him at the end, especially that Ben Kingsley like put on the Mandarin garb to take the blame for the explosion that Simon caused. That was a beautiful moment, and I love the way they executed that, and him the way he played it of like, no, you dumb idiot, that was the act. I'm the real fucking Mandarin. Like, I love that. I thought that was awesome. But again, I would have liked to see some kind of culmination, or like, where are they going now? And then I feel like that would have solidified the show a little bit more for me. There were a lot of Easter eggs. There were some tie-ins, but there wasn't much mention to like the bigger scope of the Marvel universe and like what's going on.
Where are we heading? Where in this does this lead to? Good. Yeah, I know what you mean. But like but the good thing too also is that the fact that we got the Super Bowl that's coming up this weekend. So hopefully I mean, they're saying we're getting a Spider-Man trailer this month. We should definitely be getting that Doomsday trailer on Sunday. And
we're definitely 100% getting a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer during the Super Bowl. That's guaranteed. Yeah.
So hopefully, I'm hoping when we do get this Spider-Man trailer, now that we've finished with Wonder Man, in this next trailer, that they will have something that will, you know, just kind of give a revelation that, okay, this is where this takes place after Wonder Man, and that Wonder Man and this have something to do with each other. Maybe we can have a better understanding that way.
I would like to see him in the actual trailer if that's what they're going to do. But I have a feeling if they show the trailer, it's just going to be kind of what we saw already that leaked. Yeah. I don't think they're going to give us something different. Maybe they do, because Wonder Man came out and
it's doing great. Yeah.
The big question is Sadie Sink in that movie and like who she's playing, and I think that's the intrigue. And I think once people find out who she actually is and what she's going to be, then it'll kind of either increase or decrease people's interest in going to see Spider-Man. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Like I said, that's kind of my main thing coming out of Wonder Man is just like, where do these two go next, and what do I have to where do I have to go next to see them? Because for me, they were the most entertaining thing. Them, you know, anchoring their relationship in a team setting would be phenomenal to me, and having like Ben Kingsley, you know, interact with these different people, like I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
What was your favorite scene, if you remember? Because I have mine.
I would have to say my favorite scene was when the guy showed up and took them out into the alleyway, and he was talking about, yeah, you got like 6 8-balls and 12 pounds of this, and Ben Kingsley just looks over at him and he's like, that was just one night. that was probably my favorite part. And he's like, I don't even remember it anyway. Like, I don't even know who you are. Like, so yeah, that was pretty funny. And then
it was around that same part, but a little bit more further on, where they get caught up in the dude Esteban's house, and the cops come, and they were like the cops was like, let us in, and he comes in. And they just like run, and in my head, I'm like, "What are you guys doing? They gotta come in, just fucking run." So I'm glad that they ended up going through the back door, and like, I thought they were gonna get caught, and nothing happened.
No, and he's like, put the tape through the mail slot, and he puts it through, and then gives the girl the delete, and he's like, I knew we couldn't trust him. I knew it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like I said, for me, it was him. His performance is just so phenomenal in this role. He is such a good actor, that, like I said, he deserves that Sir title in front of his name when you say his name, because he just captured this performance amazing and really made the show a lot more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. Overall, I think on Letterboxd, I gave it a 3.5 stars out of 5. That's kind of about where I felt with Wonder Man.
Would you give it a rewatch?
I still think I wouldn't give it a rewatch. I don't feel like I need to go back and rewatch it, because there wasn't anything that like, oh, I got to pick up these Easter eggs, or I got to look for this. It was a good one-time watch, and I can move on. But like I said, I am looking forward to where they're going to be next, because I think that's an important thing.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Um, and then overall, I did like Wonder Man too. But for the next topic, we know before this Wonder Man starts, we get the first trailer for, well, the first teaser trailer for Daredevil Born Again season 2. Um, what were your thoughts and just overall excitement about this?
I'm how do I say this? I have like I'm glad Daredevil's coming back for another season. The last
Yeah.
season was a lot of fun. I don't think it reached the quality that it was on Netflix previously, or the violence that it reached on Netflix previously.
Hmm.
That fight with Kingpin in the finale on Netflix is untouchable. Like that fight and that whole scene with Bullseye and him and Kingpin all going at it, like that was incredible. I'm not crazy about Jessica Jones coming back. Like it's cool she's coming back, but did I
Hmm.
really like, again, I would have kind of preferred them go a different direction with this, with who they were going to put together for these defenders. But I mean, overall, it's nothing crazy for me. Like I watched it and I was just like, okay, like it's Daredevil season 2. Like, all right, Bullseye's back. Bullseye's awesome. There was no tease of Elektra in this. I'm hoping she's part of season 2. Like, I feel like she has to be part of this next season, or it will be disappointing for me personally, just because she brought so much to the original show. That storyline is not tied up. It's still a loose end that you left from the last, from when it was on Netflix.
Hmm.
That I feel like you have to bring her back this season, and it's got to be impactful, and then she's got to stick around because you need Elektra with Daredevil. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if she's Ninja Elektra or if you put her in the Daredevil costume like she is currently in the comics. I'd be
Hmm.
fine with that too. And then we have Matt and her both being Daredevil. Cool with that as well. But I need to see her. I need some kind of resolution on what's going on with Fisk. I don't know if we're going to get that in Spider-Man. I thought that's where we were headed with Spider-Man originally, was that all this Daredevil stuff would be kind of expanded upon until we got to Brand New Day, and then that would be all of them
Yeah, I
against
did think we
Fisk's.
were gonna get him at the end of season 1 of Daredevil.
Yeah,
Um,
like we'll get more, with Fisk and Vanessa in this season, and Bullseye again looks like he's going to be a big part, but I would like a little bit more to it. So that's why I'm saying if we can get Elektra, I'd be happy. Or Luke Cage showing up, I guess, because
if
yeah.
anything, that's gonna be the last thing that happens because that's gonna be an end credit thing.
Well,
But
they
for
showed
me,
they showed his club in the last season on of the show. His club was shown in that he took over from his brother at the end of his series.
for real, I
So
didn't peep that.
yeah. So like that's why I was assuming
Hmm.
more than likely they're bringing him back. I want to say they announced that he was coming back, but I may
The
be
only
wrong
thing
about
I
that.
know that would make sense that he can be coming back. Um, so when Comic Con happened, I went to an event and they interviewed. She was there as like a live Q&A thing, and they were talking about the
Jessica
show.
Jones, you're talking about.
Jessica Jones, correct?
Yeah.
And they had asked her like about maybe seeing like the rest of the gang come back and stuff like that. And like how, oh no, the conversation was how was it working with them on Defenders and what that meant, oh, what that meant for her. So she was explaining that, and then she also mentioned that like, the guy who plays Luke Cage, him and her are really great friends in real life, and
Mhm.
that they hang out and stuff like that, and their kids are cool with each other and stuff like that. So them coming back together would not be any issue if this ends up happening. So,
Yeah. No,
um,
that's what I'm saying. My
mhm.
my only complaint would be putting him and Wonder Man on the same team, and it's just
Mhm.
because their power set. That's all it is for me. Is like you kind of don't need two people who just do the same job. If you were gonna make like a new Avengers team, so like
Right.
it could work. It could be fine. They could pull it off if that's the route they go, and I'd be fine with it if that's the decision they made, bringing him back. Iron Fist is the one for me that like recast him. Go get Jessica Henwick, please. Please, Marvel, if you're listening, Jessica Henwick
You
passed
gotta tell
on
Sarah
two
Finn if you're listening.
no. Jessica Henwick passed on two roles. She passed on Shang-Chi and she passed on another role in the MCU because she wants to come back as Colleen Wing. That's how you make Iron Fist cool in the MCU, is you get rid of Danny Rand, you just kill him off, and you make Colleen Wing your Iron Fist for the MCU. She's a fantastic actress. She wants to play this character. I feel like Marvel needs to bring her back. Like, her and Misty Knight should be back in this universe
Misty Knight
and
was
part
getting
of this
so
universe.
good, man.
So to me, like,
Really
they're
good.
that's what I'm saying. With I didn't see any of these characters in this Daredevil trailer. I just saw him wearing the black suit with the double D's now on his chest, and was like, okay, cool. You gave him a more realistic suit, but otherwise, like,
Well,
my
it's only a teaser.
meter's like low. Yeah, yeah.
But I do like the fact that we are, like you said in the beginning, Bullseye is coming back, because that initial first episode of Born Again with Daredevil and all that shit happened with him and Feige was fucking crazy to me.
And Foggy's in the trailer. So, like,
Yeah,
are we
that's true.
getting flashbacks? Are we getting him brought back somehow? I don't like that. If that's the case, they're going to bring him back, because that was impactful for that first season.
No, me too. And people keep saying, like,
I hope
he's coming
it's just
back, but
flashbacks.
I kind of don't want him to come back, because
And it looks like
kinda,
Karen's going to be more involved in this season and be his kind of love interest again.
well, if that's true, then that's good, because
well, you see her a lot in this trailer. You see them making out in this trailer, and part of the thing was, her and Foggy were never supposed to be part of season 1. That was a late addition. So that first episode of Daredevil that her and Foggy are in was a completely reshot episode out of order. So, like, they had filmed the whole series already, went back and reshot that whole first episode start to finish just to get them back into the show, because neither of them were planned for this show to begin with. Like, when they brought Daredevil back, there was no plans of Karen and Foggy being involved. So now it's going to be good to actually see her involved in this show, because they couldn't work her into a whole season of a show. It was easier to kind of just put her in where they put her in and film those scenes, rather than, like, try to rework the whole season that they already filmed. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. But again, like, my hype meter's like kind of like, okay, cool, I'll watch it, but I'm not like, can't wait for it.
If they do bring him back, I hope it's in flashbacks leading up to the bar scene, because as I'm reading Daredevil Born Again, still, I'm noticing that Karen Page plays a big role in this, with Daredevil, and also Feige does as well. So if they kind of like introduce that and, give us more of a backstory of what's been happening, because that's what happens in the book here. So if they do more of that and they kind of show more of that, because I did see a lot of one shots in the trailer that were straight out of that comic.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna pull a lot from that run, but
Especially
like I said,
the
it's
scenes
just
with Kingpin boxing and shit like that. That's straight out of Born Again.
well, Vincent D'Onofrio's a goat. His performance and his capture of Kingpin is again probably up there with Ben Kingsley and Yahya for some of the best performances in the MCU.
Robbie Downey Jr. will always be Iron Man. This is debatable, but Toby will always be Spider-Man. Him will always be Kingpin, because it's undeniable. He plays that role.
Would always be Spider-Man? That's a hot take. Is that your hot take that you wanted to get off? Toby being the best Spider-Man?
No, it's a little bit more sillier than that. But that's my hot. That can be a hot take. It can be a hot take. Yeah. Well, since we're here, I might as well get into that real quick.
Did you freeze?
So, I have wrote down a little hot take, because I was sitting there while I was on vacation, and I was just scrolling through TikTok and stuff, and I noticed, like, Spider-Man has always had like, he has his web shooters, and then there's the whole thing with Spider-Man having organic powders.
You're gonna have to restart, because you totally like cut out and your screen froze, so I didn't get any of what you said.
Well, all I said was that, like, basically the hot take is, like, do you feel like Spider-Man with web shooters is more like cooler, or Spider-Man without the web shooters and being more organic is more legit and makes sense for him as a character?
So like with Toby, where it came out of him, that's what you're talking about, versus the web shooters. Web shooters, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. It presents a plot element for him where, you know, he's not invincible. He's got to reload those cartridges. He's got to stop and find a way during a battle to pop those back in, and or if they're damaged, fix them. It's a
Yeah.
plot device more so than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always prefer the web shooters. I actually prefer Ben Riley's web shooters that are on the outside of the suit, like his bracelets, because his bracelets are a little even better than Peter's, where like they load the cartridge as it like spins around, so he doesn't have to do like a reload thing like Peter does. His like automatically do it. And now Ben's got powers, so it's totally different. But yeah, I'm always a fan of the web shooters and the thwip. You know, like he's gotta activate it by swipping.
No, I've always, I don't know. I like the whole Tobey Maguire thing because it makes sense as like somebody who has
Spider powers.
Spider powers, you should have that embedded in you.
Yeah,
So
no, there's a funny bit. I want to say it's in Across the Spider-Verse, where like Peter Porker, the little pig Spider-Man, like says like they come out of you, like what?
Yeah,
And it's like one of the other Peters.
And No Way Home too. I think they said something like that in No Way Home.
Oh yeah, they did. They made reference to it because Toby's like showing them that like, yeah, no, it just comes out.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I was never a fan of that. I always thought that was like strange, but I could see why people would like it, because yeah, it makes sense. Like, okay, if you have spider powers, then your webs come out of you. But yeah, I prefer the web shooters and you know, him building them and creating them and using it for a plot
because
device.
you can do things like in Amazing Spider-Man where you can make like anti-electric fucking spider webs and things like
And
that.
that's the cool thing is like that's kind of where Peter is now. Like he's got tech and gear and suits for every villain that he's encountered. So it's like he always is evolving and changing and having to upgrade the equipment. And then yeah, with like Electro, he uses these shock restraint webs and all kinds of things to like counter them. With Rhino, he uses like super strength webs that have steel cables in them. Like, so it's cool. Like to me, that's kind of the Batman-ism to it. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the upcoming Marvel DC crossover, because it's going to be Spider-Man and Superman teaming up. So I'm interested to see like what do they do with that? Does he have the web shooters? Is he, you know, more evenly matched with Superman, or is like we're gonna get the brains versus like the brawn? You know what I mean? Like I think that's a cool contrast between the two of them to explore.
Right. All right. Going into, I mean, I do want to get into Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. I've only watched 1 and 2 though, so I'm not so. I'm not into 3. I don't know if I'm ready to do a reaction to that. I mean, it's up to you. You can give your initial thoughts. I don't mind.
I'm really impressed with this show so far. Every week and every episode, I've read all the books. I have all the Sir Duncan Egg books. To me, this is the best Westeros show that they've done. Like,
wow,
this is legit page to screen. One for one. There's little tweaks that the guy's making, but for the most part, like you're getting the exact story how it shows up in the book, and that's what I love so far. I think who they cast for this show is phenomenal. The actor playing Dunk and the actor playing Egg, their chemistry on screen is so amazing, and you'll see it more in this 3rd episode. Like they really got you on their relationship. And then kind of what I alluded to last week about them setting up the reveal of who Egg is kind of takes place in this 3rd episode. And you get a little bit of foreshadowing with like I posted the clip on social media of a fortune teller telling Egg basically that she gives Dunk his kind of fortune, and she tells him you'll be richer than a Lannister, and that's the truth. He will eventually become richer than a Lannister. And then he goes, oh, that's cute, give it to him now. And he goes over to Egg, and she's like, You'll eventually be king. You're gonna burn in a fire. Your ashes will be ate by worms, and people will rejoice when you die. And Egg's just standing there like shocked, like, "Oh my god, why would she say this to me? I'm just a little
Mm-hmm.
kid."
Mm-hmm.
But it's the truth. And that was the crazy part for me, was like that they basically told you, okay, this is what happens to Egg way down the line. You don't have to worry about this little kid like turning into Joffrey or becoming one of the big bad villains of Westeros, because that's not what happens to Egg. Unfortunately, with the Targaryens, they suffer from dragon dreams, and it stems all the way back to Aegon the Conqueror, the first Targaryen that came over. They have these visions and these dreams that call to them, and they might interpret it one way and it's really meant a different way. And these dreams, the more they have them, eventually like drive them mad. And that's unfortunately what happens to Egg, like way down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And Egg has these dragon dreams and thinks that he can hatch, because so in this time the dragons are gone, but the eggs are still there. So when a Targaryen is born,
So
there's still
it's potential for a dragon to be born
yes.
again.
So
Mm-hmm.
so they're still given the eggs at birth, just like the Targaryens were, this whole entire time. They'd put the egg in the crib with the baby and hope that the egg hatches. In the old times, the egg would hatch, the dragon would grow up with the kid, and they'd be bonded for life. With now what's going on, none of those eggs have hatched. So they have these Targaryen dragon eggs, that they've been raised with, and Egg's dragon dream is that he's going to be the one to hatch it. And his dream is really about Dany way down the line. He sees Dany lighting the fire and the eggs, the dragons are reborn, when like what happens in Game of Thrones. And so Egg tries to do the same thing. He sets a fire at Summerhall thinking that he can hatch this egg and survive. And
Yeah.
in the process, it goes totally awry and he burns down the whole castle. And like him and Dunk both end up dying in that fire. I don't know if we're going to see this in the show. That's the only reason why I'm talking about it, because
Mm-hmm.
part of one of the topics we were going to talk about anyway was that the showrunner has laid out a plan for this show going forward that
Yeah.
I don't know if it's feasible. I don't think the network's going to buy on it, but the showrunner basically said his ideal vision for this show would be to do 4 seasons, which would be covering pretty much most of the Dunk and Egg books. It would be a little bit over, but I know he's privy to the stories George does want to tell with these characters. And then he said he wanted to wait 10 years to let the actors naturally progress in age and then bring them back to finish the show and do Aegon as a prince and then do Aegon as king
So that
with
way
both of
it
these actors.
sets them up to like the proper age that they would actually be.
And
Yeah.
they'd
You know how
be
to recast or anything.
closer in proximity to where they should be in the in the books and the story. I
Yeah.
don't think HBO is going to go for that though. Like my money's on HBO is going to tell you Dunk can always get prosthetic and aged up, so that's not really the problem. It's going to be Egg. Egg will naturally progress as this show goes on, but I feel like even with 4 or 5 seasons, he's not going to be the age that he needs to be Prince Aegon or King Aegon. So I have a feeling like eventually they're going to have to recast Egg at some point, which is unfortunate because
look at
this
Stranger
Dexter
Things
kid
that did what
is
they did.
phenomenal. Yeah, but Stranger Things took too long and then nobody cared when it happened. That's kind of
I mean,
what happened with the show. The show shit the bed. Like that's
Mhm.
straight across the board. So you don't want to do that with this. Like waiting 4 years between seasons is not something HBO is going to do. HBO has already deemed that this show is going to come out annually or every other year. So they're not going to waste time of like, we're going to hold off making money for 10 years so you can bring all these guys back. They're going to be like, just recast them and keep the show going. That's what's going to happen. But I thought the vision for
I think that
was,
would be really dope though as a vision. But
I
yeah.
do too. Like for a director to come out and say that of like, hey, I'd be older, I'd have a different appreciation because I would have aged with them too. Like we might have a whole different approach to this show if these actors all age up and I age up and we're all at different points in our life and continue the show, which is great. But realistically, we're talking about a cable company that wants to make money and they're going to keep making the show. They're not going to take a break, especially if Netflix is involved, because by then the deal would be finished with Warner going over to Netflix. So my guess is like you can count on recasting Egg at some point in the show.
That's a fact.
And
yeah,
then
I can't wait
also
to watch this episode and just see what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and they kind of set up now what these next 3 episodes are going to be. So it's really going to be amazing. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns, and you're going to kind of see the Targaryen line of succession change in these last 3 episodes. So it's really important. And then the other thing that was like announced in part of all of this that they were talking about, the sea snake from House of the Dragons, Lord Corlys from the
Hmm.
Stepstones, he's actually getting a spinoff of his own. So there was always talk of doing. He does 9 voyages across like Essos and the Stepstones and all these parts of the globe that we haven't explored in Game of Thrones. The original plan was to do a live action spinoff with him on his 9 voyages, and they announced the other day that it's actually going to be an animated series. And Tarkovsky, who did the original Clone Wars, is supposedly involved in this. So I am very excited about it. Um, Basically, what it's going to do, it's going to be 9 episodes highlighting each one of his voyages that he took and show you different parts of the world. It'll also be the first time that we get to see Old Valeria in its glory on screen, so that'll be really cool. Also different creatures in different parts of the globe that like were never explored in the overall Game of Thrones,
So
series.
will he be the age that he was in Game of Thrones, or this is like a younger version of him?
No, no, no. Lord Corlys is from House of the Dragon.
I
He's the
mean,
black
sorry, House
black
of
guy
Dragons. Yeah,
with the dreads.
yeah, yeah. He's the one who
That's
died, didn't he die?
No, he didn't die. He was saved by his sons.
Okay, I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, he's the Lord from the steps. He's another Valerian that's married into the Targaryens. So
The
he's
black
gonna
guy.
be he's the famous, sailed the whole entire world, which
Yeah.
in Westeros not many people have done. So it's gonna be cool to explore these tales and see these different places that he's gone and see what the rest of what's outside of the map of Westeros that we have. I think that's more so the big point of the show is to see these other places that we've just never
Hmm.
explored in the show,
Yeah, and
which to
then
me
they're
to me
shooting
is
it the
fun.
way how this show is Dunkin' Egg is right now. I'm down to see all that because the
And
camera work in Dunkin' Egg is really great.
well, and yeah, this is going to be much different because this will be a fully animated show. It's not going to be live action. So, to me, what makes Dunkin' Egg special and Night of the Seven Kingdoms special, it's such a small set. You're on one set. You're not bouncing around between different castles and different lands in the realm. You're literally in one town at this one event for the whole entire season of the show, which to me, I really like. It's a lot more small scale. You actually get to know each character a little bit more, and it makes you more invested. And there's also a really, really funny bit in this episode about a 3-fingered prostitute who sticks her fingers and pleasures men by sticking them up her ass. And there's a song that Robert Baratheon, not Robert Baratheon, but the Baratheon sings that is fucking hysterical. And then Egg questions the song with Dunk, which is a beautiful moment, like when you get through it. But it's so funny to hear like a little kid say, you know, oh, this cripple really used her potential to pleasure men's bums. It's just a funny bit. But then he finds wisdom out of the song and like, do you really think her name's what they're singing about? I think it's Helen in the song. And he's like, do you think her name's really Helen? And Egg Dunk just kind of looks at him like, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But he makes a point about songs immortalizing these people, and this is how their lives are told in these medieval times. It's like if you make it to be in a song, you're immortalized forever. And so it's just a real funny bit. When you get to watch the episode, you'll get a laugh out of it because
Thanks.
Dexter, who plays Egg, is just hilarious in his delivery and the way he goes about like telling, finding a point and a purpose out of this hooker that, only had 3 fingers on her hand.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'll probably watch tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
but definitely cannot wait.
Yeah.
And then that was like I think a main part of this week. Just those three things. A lot of little quick hits that we had going on throughout the week. Just to name a few, we had James Gunn's, showing off Man of Steel set, and then also
Man, so
defending what was her name? Catherine Horden, is that how you say her name?
I don't have her name in front of me. So basically, he was showing off sets from Superman. He was showing off set photos, basically of Choco's and the boardroom table that he had set up for one of the scenes. And then yeah, he was defending the writer and basically saying that she's been part of the DC universe from the beginning, and that if you're using Flash or any of her other failed movies that were horrible, that you don't know anything, basically, that she's been involved in his DCU since it started. So take
Yeah.
that for what it's worth, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know. I'm still very skeptical about her writing this script, and I don't understand why she's writing this script, because I thought a script for this movie was already done. That's what we had heard years ago, that
To be
this
honest,
was
though,
already like done.
I didn't hate the Flash as much as most people
Oh, it's a
did.
fucking
Um,
awful movie.
I didn't think it was as that bad. I mean, it is a pretty
Yeah,
bad movie, but I
it's
don't think it's as
awful.
bad as people say it is.
It is
Also,
one of the worst superhero movies ever made. That CGI and those visual
yeah,
effects,
the
like,
CGI is kind of corny. That I can't even debate
ridiculous.
about.
And the
But
fact that they move forward with a sexual predator as their main lead star,
hmm
like, nah,
hmm
bro, fuck that movie.
yeah, but
The sad part is that was Michael Keaton's send off. Like, you get to be part of some
that's the
movie
part
that
that
doesn't
that
fucking
holds me
matter.
close to that movie, though,
It
is
doesn't
because of
hold me at
fucking
all.
Michael.
Like, I just ignore it. It's not important. It's not. But
And the fact that we
speaking of
did see the
super
Supergirl, like, I don't know, there's little
yeah,
things like that. Like,
but speaking of Superman, former Superman Henry Cavill showed off a couple pictures from the new Highlander reboot. Are you a Highlander fan?
yeah.
Have you seen like the
So
old
I was
movies?
gonna ask about that because I did see that, but in my head I'm like, I don't even know what Highlander is.
So it's an older movie from probably my childhood, maybe even before. And basically, it's like a fantasy series about there can only be one Highlander. So the original one, basically, there's like sword duels and stuff, but it's more in like modern thing, and they jump through portals and have like
Okay.
this whole lore to it. It's kind of cool. It's been a long time since I've watched like the original one. But he's playing the third generation. So from what I saw, he's actually playing Henry McLeod, which is going to be his character's name for this, which I guess is the lineage of the original Highlander. So I guess he's playing like a descendant for a total complete reboot of the Highlanders, series and myth.
Yeah, yeah.
So should be interesting. I mean, I I'm fine seeing him in whatever he does. Like, I'm kind of
Yeah, I haven't
disappointed
had
that he.
some Henry Cavill in my life. They took him away from The Witcher, and
That's what I was gonna
that's,
say. Yeah, yeah. Him leaving The Witcher was super disappointing.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I'll be glad to see him. I know he's got some other stuff that he's working on. The tabletop game movie, and I want to say he's part of like the live action Voltron that they're going to be doing. I'm pretty sure.
I did hear
Yeah.
stuff about that Voltron stuff. Only thing I heard was, they were talking about how great it is and what it is, and they shot most of it in Australia, I think it was,
Okay.
and that it's coming along really great, and that they're just probably like in the editing scene part of the movie.
Yeah, I know
Wow.
he's doing the Warhammer too, the tabletop game. Like, he's
Wow, I
bringing
didn't know
that
they were doing that.
into. Yeah, he's bringing that into like live
Oh,
action.
I'm glad you said that because we also got announcements for more God of War stuff. Um,
Yes. Yeah. They cast the guy who actually so from what I understand about this God of War series that they're doing for Amazon, they're not starting at the beginning of God of War. So like, I was hoping they were going to start at Kratos' origin.
yeah,
The
it seems that they're going straight to the Greek mythology stuff based off
No,
of
no,
just
no.
how the character looks.
They're skipping all of the Greek mythology stuff, and they're going right to the Norse god stuff. So they're starting
Oh,
with
sorry,
the
that's what I meant. That's what I
they're
meant. North,
they're
yeah, that's what I
starting
meant.
with
North,
like the
right.
current Game of Thrones
Yeah, yeah,
games,
yeah, yeah.
which I
Sorry,
mean,
that's what I meant.
current
Hmm.
God of War games. So I'm interested how that's going to be, because for me, what got me into the game originally
Of
was the
course.
original God of War
Yeah.
game. Like, the Greek
Mhm.
mythology story was fantastic. Him and Ares, him and Athena, him and Zeus, like, that was a phenomenal run. My guess is it's too large scale. Like, they can do the Norse stuff, I think, on a smaller scale than they can with the Greek stuff, but I'm very interested to see the guy who played Opie from from Sons of Anarchy is playing Kratos. He's who got cast, and the guy who actually voiced and mocapped the severed head from the latest God of War games is going to be playing the severed head in live action. So I thought that was pretty cool. They also cast another actor that I'm not familiar with as Thor, because Thor is a big part of this story in the Norse mythology. So it's going to be interesting. We haven't seen who his son has, like who's going to be cast to play his son yet and play Atreides. But I'm looking forward to it, even if they do end up skipping like the Greek stuff. My guess is maybe we get like
flashback.
Like 2-3 seasons of the Norse stuff, and maybe they go back and do a prequel afterwards. You know, like maybe that's their plan to see how it goes first.
What the thing is, like for a TV show though, I think the Norse mythology stuff makes more sense because it is
does.
a little bit more. It's a little bit more emotional.
It's a little tighter scale with him and the son rather than just like him. But like if you go back to the original story of him, his wife and his daughter died in the first, like that sacrifice was what made him, you know, Ares' counterpart. So like,
and it also is
it's
like
going to be interesting.
You're stealing the pages. Well, you can steal the pages from the Last of Us TV show as well to make this somewhat relatable. So if you just stick to the script in a way, you can do something like that.
Well, yeah, the connection with him and Atreides is very interesting, especially because like the mother's not around, so it's like a disgruntled father who's like been here, done that already, and like raising their child, not knowing that their child is actually like a god. Well, he knows that his son is a god, and he's keeping it all like. So it's interesting. Yeah, because for those that don't know, I guess that would be a spoiler. Is that Atreides is Loki, the Norse god, you know, the trickster. So it's interesting to see that they took this approach. I'm here for it though. I'm excited for the show, and I'm really excited to see.
Because I didn't realize. I always thought the show was supposed to be animated, and then when I seen who they hosted or who they picked to be the live action person, I was like, oh, so this is live action now. So I'm excited. I'm even more excited now.
Yeah, and Mark Bernardin, who is part of Kevin Smith's podcast, he's actually working on the show. So we have a really, really good guy. He worked on Eyes of Wakanda. He's worked on tons and tons of stuff. Mark is a fantastic dude. So he's been working on that show behind the scenes. So I'm really excited to see like what that actually turns out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like some bits and rumors. Fast and Furious finally gets a title, Fast Forever, and it's going to be released in 2028. I don't know if you're a fan of the Fast and Furious movies. I kind of tuned out a long time ago.
Oh my god, dude! Like what?
So
Fast
here's
Forever. This will never end.
Fast Forever. This is the last one apparently, and I have a feeling. Yeah, this is it.
Fast Forever is the last one.
Yep, this is it. This is the last Fast and Furious movie. My assumption and stuff that I've heard is that they're gonna bring back Paul Walker's character using his brother again in digital tech, and that like Paul Walker will be part of this movie, even though it's not actually Paul Walker.
Oh my god, they better not.
Which I hope that's not the case. Like that's the rumor going around because they did it in that one movie.
They better not. That's gonna be such nasty work.
Vin Diesel keeps making reference that like everyone's coming back for this, so I'm interested to see how that goes. And then something we had like touched about last week is there's more to these rumors about Filoni and his Heir to the Empire movie and how it could end up being a limited series. It's definitely off the table for a movie, though. It sounds like a movie for Filoni's, like directed by Filoni, is not happening, and that Heir to the Empire could be moved to a TV series depending on how Mando and Grogu do and how Ahsoka season 2 do. So we did touch on that last week when we were talking about like the Star Wars shows, but I don't really know what to make of it. Again, it's just like a very new rumor. And then the other thing kind of going with that is Secret Wars could be split into two films.
Yeah, I did.
That's kind of the other like rumor lingering out there. I don't know how true that is. It was leaked by Daniel RPK, which I don't consider a reliable source.
Yeah, I take that with a grain of salt.
So yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Would you be more excited with Secret Wars being 2 parts, or would you?
1000%, because it allows you to tell the story more. And plus, Secret Wars was I think it was like a 4-part series. So being able to do it like that would give you so much more room to really hone into the story of the Secret Wars, and developing what's to happen next.
Well,
And plus, like,
and
I'm not ready
Hickman's
for this because once Secret Wars is over, they're recasting everybody, and it's just like a whole new universe. So when
yeah,
we have these characters, while we have them now, I'm all in for that, and
I think a
I want
couple
to savor that.
I think a couple people stay on and stick around, but I do think like your main roles of Cap, Iron Man, Thor, all those are getting recast. I would assume.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I guess having it be 2 parts, and maybe that's like first part is Spider Man, second part is like the actual culmination. You know what I mean? Like I
and
don't know.
the fact that we still, who knows? I hope we could still get Kang. I hope we still are getting him some way
It's
or
not
another.
happening. No, you'll either get a reference to him or you'll see all the Kangs dead in Doomsday, and that'll be that. Like you're never gonna get that resolution on Kang. It was resolved in
I'm
Loki, like it's
hopeful. I'm
done.
hopeful.
They took care of it in Loki though. Like that's last season of Loki. They basically said, "Hey, we'll look for the rest of the variants of him and wipe him out," and that's basically what they did. That was it. So
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I don't think you're ever going to get that answer of Kang. Kang was sent off to another universe and never to be seen again, just like The Simpsons. I also something that we haven't really talked about the last couple of weeks because there hasn't been much. There's some
Yeah,
toy news this week,
I'm
so
enjoying it.
I'm just gonna take the helm on this one because we got a new look at the DC collectibles. So for those that don't know, DC is currently with McFarlane Toys. They're changing licenses going into this year and next year. DC figures are going to be made by Mattel now, the company that makes Barbies and the WWE wrestling figures. So they introduced their first kids line of figures. They look pretty cool, but a lot of people had complaints about it, comparing them to the McFarlanes. The collector's line does not come out until 2027 because that's when Todd's rights go away. So we won't see like what the adult collectibles are going to look like until 2027. So like people can go off that. Also with the Mattel thing, they showed off their Masters of the Universe movie figures. So you kind of got to look at the articulation and the stuff on that and kind of got a vision of like what their DC figures are probably going to look like more so.
Yeah.
Seeing the figures though for Masters of the Universe actually made me more excited about the movie. I was like, oh,
Yes.
these figures actually look really good. The character designs actually look really good.
Fuck
So
all that bullshit of people talking about that movie.
I'm
here
very
for it.
much looking forward to that movie. NECA lands the Muppets, which is a huge news for a lot of people. Diamond Select Toys had the license to the Muppets for the past couple years. And Diamond Select Toys completely went out of business. They were bought by Funko, I believe, or one of those companies, and
Another one going out of business.
just completely dissolved. So NECA is going to be making the Muppets figures. They're currently making Sesame Street stuff, so it's going to go hand in hand with that. And then Hasbro is going to be teaming up with Legendary Pictures to make figures for Street Fighter, the movie that is coming out. So you can expect a Cody Rhodes, you can expect a Roman Reigns, Andrew Koji, and the rest of that cast from the Street Fighter movie to have action figures hitting the store as well. So just a little bit sprinkled in there. And K-pop Demon Hunters, the biggest movie of the fucking world.
Just won a Grammy yesterday too.
They're gonna win a lot. they're gonna win a lot come Oscar time. But Mattel went like full steam ahead and unveiled probably about 30 different variations of stuff that's going to be coming out for this movie. Like it never ends. There was like a full page catalog that they put out. So I give them credit. They got it done in 6 months. They had like a year timeline, but they got all this stuff like positioned and ready to go for the spring. So it's going to be interesting if your kids or you are a fan of that. All of that stuff should be hitting the stores come springtime. Yeah, I didn't watch it. I didn't see it. My niece loves it, but I have not watched it.
It's a nice watch. Sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our toy news.
So did you I know we kind of talked about it off air. Quick reaction to Royal Rumble. What was your thoughts and your feelings about watching it?
I'm gonna say off the back, fuck these Saudi Arabia motherfuckers because I don't fuck with the whole vibe with the whole thing with the women. I just feel like it's super corny, and it showed on screen that I just feel like Royal Rumble is in the Saudi Arabia vibe is just not it. I think it just takes away from the fans being able to actually participate in it. One, and I just feel like it's just super like a money hungry type of vibe that it turns a lot of people off. It turned me off. I didn't not watch it or catch it because of that. Slightly yes, but mainly because I was away. But for the most part, when I first seen this initial announcement happening, that already turned me off from the beginning because of that. Given the fact of what actually happened, though, I did find out Liv Morgan won, which was nah, can care less. Roman Reigns beating Gunther is amazing because I'm glad he got Cena's get back and all that. But overall, though, I just don't ever want to see Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia again. I don't care how much money they give to WWE. I'm just not here for it.
Yeah, and that was kind of the telling part of like they're getting WrestleMania next year, which again is like another one for me that I don't feel like
Did you
those
say
two events.
Romania?
No, they're getting WrestleMania next year.
Oh, WrestleMania. Yeah.
WrestleMania is in
Yeah, yeah.
Saudi next year. So to me, I don't agree with putting like the flagship events over there. Like I
Hmm.
think the flagship events should stay flagship events and shouldn't be like you're gonna turn a lot of people away not
Hmm.
wanting to go over there, not wanting to travel. I usually do not watch those events when they're on from there.
Yeah, same.
But I did keep up on like what was happening with Royal Rumble. Liv winning was fine by me. She's from Jersey. We go way back, so I was happy for Liv. Roman was kind of just like, okay, you
Hmm.
kind of. So we're getting one of the same main events. Either it's going to be him and Punk, or it's going to be him and Drew. And like either one, I don't really care. It doesn't sell me on WrestleMania
What
being
that
like
Nigerian dude's name? I forget his name. He was from the next
Obafemi.
yeah, I heard he went absolute crazy.
Yeah, he did. It looked like they were going to set him up to break like Brock Lesnar's like record for the Royal Rumble with like eliminations and time spent in the ring, but I
Hmm.
don't think it went that far. There was a lot of production mishaps and a lot of camera cuts that just like missed stuff. So I don't
Hmm.
know what was going on. I don't know if somebody new was in the truck or because they were, operating wherever they were operating, maybe
Yeah.
something was different. But there was a lot
Hmm.
of production mishaps that like normally don't happen on this show, and it just overall like really wasn't a great show. It wasn't a really great Rumble. There was really no surprises, and it
Hmm.
just kind of came and went. And on to the next one. So
Hmm.
that's unfortunate for something like that is a flagship event for WWE. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was watching somebody do show like their screen of the women's match, and one they look like a bunch of Power Rangers, bootleg Power
Well,
Rangers in a match
because they have to
together.
be covered up in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was whatever. But you're looking at the stands though, you see like nobody in the crowd, and I
Yeah,
was just like, what the fuck is going on?
they for
For
whatever
some place
reason
that has so much money, why is there no attendance?
it looked very dark in the arena. Like I don't know if there was just no lighting that they hung up over, or if that was intentionally done just to like kind of darken out the crowd a little bit. But
Hmm.
I didn't like that, and it came across very badly on TV. Where like it did, it looked empty until like if you took a screenshot and zoomed in, you would see that there was people there. But it almost reminded me of what they did for WrestleMania like last year or the year before, where like they had these like lights on the top of everybody's seats, and it
Hmm.
made it look the arena was completely empty and just these lights were there. But then if you zoom in on the picture, you see that there's people sitting in the seats with these just big, obnoxious lights all over the place. So
Hmm.
I kind of feel like they ran into that with this. It did come across poorly on television. A lot of the pops came across poorly. But shout out to Powerhouse Hobbs, who made his WWE debut from AEW. He came over, and now he is Royce Keys in WWE. So he's
Nice.
he's a good guy to watch in WWE now going forward.
Dope. Yeah. Yeah, it makes me with the Saudi stuff. Other than that, I can't wait for it. What's next?
So comics of the week. What you got?
Yeah. So for comics of the week, since I was away, I didn't really get to go to my local shop to get some stuff. But I did end up before I left. I did order a 4-part set. Shout out to Cheddar Comics. But we got the Archie versus Predator set here. So it's just different events and like kind of like short stories of the Predator trying to attack Archie. And I just thought it was a really cool set. Um, Odd as you wouldn't expect these two to be in a comic together as well. But I'm a huge Predator fan, so seeing this, I just had to add it to the collection.
Yeah, I think Badlands comes out tomorrow on DVD, if I'm not mistaken. So I got to pick that up on DVD because that was a phenomenal movie. All I got three this week. So first up, we have Absolute Wonder Woman. It is the first full appearance of Zatanna and her Suicide Squad. So if you pick this up,
Hey, Wakanda
it's
fans, I
go
know
get it
y'all be
graded.
reading.
Go hold on to this one because this one will probably have some value to it down the line. But the absolute Zatanna is fantastic. Really interesting to see her square off with Wonder Woman and what's going to happen in this run as it continues. Continuing Absolute, we also got Wonder Woman showing up in Absolute Batman. This is the second part of their crossover that they did. Very interesting to see Bruce and Diana meet for the first time in a different universe. In the last issue of Absolute Wonder Woman, this crossover started. So it's these two issues that kind of go together that set them up meeting for the first time. And it was pretty interesting for sure. And then last but not least, Energon, G.I. Joe universe, our first debut of Roadblock in the Energon universe. And they did a fantastic job. Having him be a guy that left the Marines and left the U.S. forces to just open his food truck like he did in the cartoon. So I thought that was a great way of doing it. And then, he unwillingly gets dragged back into the Joe mess of stuff. So we're going to see Roadblock now be part of the team. From what it looks like, he's going to be part of Night Force, which is the separate squad that they kind of have been setting up. So it looks like the Night Force team is going to be where Roadblock is going to end up. But I thought that was great to finally get him. Now we're just waiting on Snake Eyes, man. He's the last one they got to finally introduce in this Joe universe.
Dope. Dope, man. I can't wait. This is a great week. I think this week we also, like I was saying to you, I think we're getting Ultimate Endgame #2. I do have to pick up my copy of that Batman Absolute. I know that's waiting for me. And then whatever else. Last week I had Miles Morales, but that's another one that I got to pick up again. Um, but other than that, it's been a good week.
Yeah. What are
Yeah.
you watching this week? You got anything that you've been checking out or
So
gonna
I
check
finished
out?
catching up on well, I'm almost catched up. I just had a couple episodes left of JJ Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
I'm watching that. I'm also watching Shrinking now. Starting
Okay.
Shrinking. I'm also
It's a good
starting
show.
um on HBO. We're watching The Pit. And then we're also what else am I finishing up? But I've been hearing good things about it's an older show, but one of my buddies has been telling me to watch From. It's a show that was on MGM. I guess it's kind of like a horror, like thriller type of show.
Okay.
I've heard good things about that. Other than that, I eventually want to check out. So there's a TV show, there's an animated series called Primal. It's from the same creator of Samurai Jack, and so it
Hmm.
has like that same like art style to it. And I've
Yeah,
been trying to pick it up.
that's Tarkovsky. That's the guy I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier. That's going to be doing the Game of Thrones animated series.
Well, dope. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so he has this show right now called Primal, and it's like almost like some King Kong shit, but it's like
a buddy of
with
mine had just recommended me to check that out too because of
yeah,
the Game of Thrones
so
news.
I want to check it out. I didn't know there was as many seasons as it was because I'm on just now on HBO Max, I'm starting to see it like all the time, but I guess there's like 3 seasons already.
Okay.
So I do want to check that out. But then other than that, that's just it right now. I'm really interested in getting back into shrinking. Your Friendly Neighbor comes back soon as well. Yeah,
I
it's a
skipped
couple
that.
of shows.
I didn't even bother with that. If it was Spider-Man 97, I would have been in, but I didn't need that show.
No, no, not that one. It's the other show with on Apple TV.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So I actually started the Wheel of Time on Prime, and then came to find out that the it got canceled for season 4. So
Mm.
I'm halfway through season 2 now. So I will continue to watch the show, not knowing Amazon kept showing it to me that like new season, new season, new season. So I finally checked it out, and then I finally got invested in the show. And then, like I said, came to find out that the show got canceled. So I'm not going to know what actually happens. And there's no ending to the actual show other
Dang.
than whatever the ending to season 3 is. So more than likely, I'll have to go through the books to find out what happened or watch like a long YouTube video because there are like 15 books in the series. So, but I've really enjoyed it so far. I kind of wish that the show didn't get canceled because season 1 was a little slow and a lot of world building, and then season 2 has been pretty solid so far. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see, season 3. I don't think it got the numbers that it did, and the show debuted earlier last year. So maybe there's a chance that it can get brought back, I guess, if enough people watch it, or maybe another network decides to pick it up and make it. But yeah, that's what I started, was Wheel of Time, and it's been cool. Another fantasy, magical, night medieval show.
Right.
So it's interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about it.
Is that it? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
But yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Talking Soups. My name is Ande Gachu.
and I'm
Um,
Ed.
and Ed. And we hope you enjoy this episode as much as we love bringing it to you. And until next time, we'll see you there.
Peace.
Peace.